Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video we are checking out the season 5 changes for Falke and for Gill. And let's start first with Gill, because Gill was a character who everyone feels is lacking something, right? We all have this idea that Gill does not have a crush counter. Obviously the retribution mechanic is supposed to be a big part of his identity, and but it was lacking because you had to use the EX moves or the V trigger moves, and that made it difficult to actually utilize the retribution mechanic. And what they did and the direction they took with it is actually pretty interesting. Now, for example, let's say that we have 1 bar of meter, right? And we inflicted the burn damage on Falke. What they did is, once you do a retribution attack or the anti-type attack as they call it, you get a lot more meter. Notice how much meter that crouching heavy punch built, right? Typically, if the opponent is not in the retribution state or in the burn state, the crouching is building. That's around, I would say that's around like 20% of a bar. But once you have the retribution on, notice that it is building a lot more. So what they did is, instead of buffing it so that he gets retribution usually, they increased his meter gain so that he can have more EX moves for retribution and obviously for super. And this is a very interesting change because now he can actually build a lot of gauge with this. Like, for example, let's say you got this V trigger activation now. Right? Notice that now the meter building is kind of high. Like, it's actually really high. So it's an interesting idea to take the character. It's an interesting approach to him. Not really sure if it is gonna be that valuable in the long run. Probably we will have some new optimal routes to maximize the meter gain. But it is a buff nonetheless, and beggars can be choosers, as they say. So it is an interesting change. Another change to Gill that's actually pretty interesting in my opinion is to the EX moonsault. It's the EX knee. And what they changed is that this now is an anti-air. It's invincible to jumping attacks or mid-air attacks from frame 5. So it's not like a Shoryuken, it is Shoryuken-esque. Like, once he's already launched off the ground, he can actually anti-air reliably with it. This is gonna be pretty good because Gill had to anti-air with normals, and obviously normals can be empty jumped. Maybe if you were not early enough you would lose, but this is giving him a new option. Like, for example, now thanks to this you can get stuff like that, and that is good. This is a good change for Gill. I think it's gonna help him a lot because Gill didn't have a guaranteed anti-air, right? So along with his fireball zoning, especially the ice one, having the option of a ready invincible anti-air, it's actually a pretty good change for the character, and I do think it's gonna help him a lot. Will it be enough? I'm not sure, but we will see. Now let's take a look at the Falke changes, and honestly it is just one change. It doesn't really change that much. They pretty much increased the meter gain on the V skill 2, and that is pretty much it. And instead of her getting 60 V gauge, now she's getting 100. So it will help her build V gauge faster, but again, this is not that big of a deal. It's a cool quality of life change, but will not change that much or anything that drastic about the character. But I do think Falke was already in a pretty good spot as it is. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page and the Discord server page in the description. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.